Hello and welcome to Cookin in the Kitchen with Boomchang Records and DC Coast to Coast. Today we've got a returning guest all the way from New England in the States, touring over here in the UK. Jesse, welcome back in the kitchen, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Really good to see you.
Good to see you.
And
man.
you've brought a local guest with you as well, I see.
Yeah, Alan Fish.
Alan, hey, welcome in the kitchen.
From Newcastle.
Good to see you again, Steve.
That's brilliant. Now this is really weird. How come you two have connected? Because you're from the Northeast and done music for many years. You're from the States.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
A bridged version would
Well,
be.
yes.
I was watching this really good music program on TV.
Really?
Cooking in the Kitchen.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jess was on, and I shouted at my wife, I said, "You got to see this bloke, he's really good."
Yeah.
And during the course of watching it, I spotted a singer-songwriter I've done a bit of work with, Ian Lightfoot.
Oh, Ian, yes, of course.
So I contacted Ian, I said, "Hey, Jesse's really good." He says, "Well, he's looking for a guitar player."
Oh, excellent.
And that was how it happened, serendipity.
Hey, that's perfect. Happy days all round.
Cooking in the kitchen's done a lot for me.
Well, it was great to have you on last time. Fantastic to have you back again. So, what have you been up to since we last seen you?
Man, just constantly touring and making records and living the dream, man.
Brilliant.
You know?
Any highlights?
There's been really so many. I mean, making these two records this year has been a real highlight.
You've done 2 records this year. Wow.
Yeah. The next one is coming out after this one.
Okay.
But I got to make a record with this record with a full string section and a string arranger, the way they used to make records, and that was done in Nashville, was it? Or? Yeah. Okay. Both records were done in Nashville, which is kind of like my home away from home.
Absolutely.
And there's just been so many awesome things, and of course coming over to the UK to tour, and just got off playing Americana Fest in Nashville in September, which was a real thrill.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant times.
Man. Yeah.
Hey, well, welcome back to the UK. I'm so pleased that it's working out for you. You know.
Oh, man, it's a good journey, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Alan, why don't you just introduce us, because you're here, in the sense of what you've done in the past, because you've worked with some high-profile bands in the past, in Newcastle anyway, haven't you? And
well, going back to the 70s and 80s.
Right. You don't even look that old. You can't be working in the 70s and 80s.
He doesn't. He doesn't act that old.
Must have had an easy paper around, I think. Yeah. But,
I was involved with the band White Heat.
White Heat, right.
And we made quite an impression and got a deal and went through the whole sort of professional musician journey.
Right.
And when that fell through,
well, it didn't fall through. It just came to an end.
It came to an end. Didn't it? Steve, it fell through.
Okay, well, I like your honesty. Lovely honesty. Yeah.
Then set up a semi-professional original band, the Loud Guitars, and we had a really good run with that band.
Yeah.
With the Loud Guitars, we made a decision we would fund our own albums, and so that was. We had total control.
That was probably ahead of the time when people were actually doing that.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's kind of ahead of,
I mean, that's what's happening now.
That's before the indie thing.
We weren't crowdfunding. That would have been nice to have done that. Wish I'd thought of that. Yeah.
Well, I don't even think, I don't even know how you would have achieved that back in them days. But.
Then I set up the band The Attention Seekers, which was just a vehicle for my songwriting, and it's given me the opportunity to work with some my favourite musicians.
Yeah.
And we've now got Jesse as an honorary member of the team, so I've still got that going, writing and recording. And
so what you're doing is taking your songs and pooling people, bring them around you to develop them songs and.
What I'd found, Steve, was I'd gained quite a good reputation as a live musician, but I personally didn't feel that was reflected in the recorded output at that particular time.
Right.
And I made the discovery that often it's a different set of musicians you need for studio work than you do for live work. And I made an effort to really knuckle down and crack the recording side of things.
Well, that's well done. That's brilliant. I'd love to hear some of that in the future. Or maybe we'll get you back on the show at some time in the future.
We'd love to do it. Yeah, I think that's
great,
a deal. That's
great
a contract.
stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff.
I mean, you can talk from the Nashville side of things. I mean, I've found that a friend of mine, not name dropping here, but a friend of mine toured with Dolly Parton. But it turned out that she had session musicians who never came out the studio. Only ever did the studio stuff, and then she had a touring band who were guys who were probably happy to go on the road, where the session musicians were just wanting to get out of bed, go to the studio.
It's different skills, definitely. Yeah.
That's interesting that it's different skills, isn't it? Because I mean, I would love to talk about that a bit more. How do we get into music? We find our music, we find how we want to do it, and we think we've got a sound. We go and record it. We learn that process, and then we go on to like wanting to perform it. Now, I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they were saying they'd seen this artist who was really good, but he couldn't communicate to the audience. Now, that's something that takes time and development, isn't it? How do you go about doing that?
Well, we were actually just talking about this recently. Is just even if you make a great record, folks can pop that in the CD player or the iPod or whatever at home. Yeah. But going out on the road and connecting to an audience and performing and being a showman or a showgirl, like, I mean, it's not a showgirl, but whatever. But you know what I mean. Like, being a performer is a whole different skill set, I think, and connecting to an audience and it's a lifelong pursuit, I think, and I think I've gotten better at it over the years, but I think when you first get up there in front of an audience, it's terrifying, you know?
I think it's
and
repetition.
Then after a while,
you've got to keep doing it, haven't you, to learn from your mistakes.
Play hundreds of shows, and then after a while, the stage starts feeling like home. Yeah. And you can start really being free and relaxed on stage and communicating with the audience and telling stories, and you realize that they love that, because otherwise just stay home and
you've got to connect
put on the
with
record.
People, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. I think that's what it's all about. Yeah. You know?
It's very interesting. I mean, what do you prefer in performances? Do you like small, where you can see the whites of their eyes? Yeah. Or do you like the big arena type things, or whatever you've been able to do?
Well, I like both. I haven't done a ton of arena stuff, but I mean, I have played for thousands of people. Yeah. And I've played for 5 as well. So I've done, and everything in between.
We call them furniture exhibitions.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's Bob Dylan said I've played for 50,000 and I've played for 50, and I'll tell you that playing for 50 is a lot harder than playing for 50,000. Yeah. So I think those smaller intimate gigs I'm very comfortable with now, and I love those shows, because you get to know every person by the end of the show, and nice, some of these people become best friends, and but the light in your eyes at a theater or like a big, New York City's a big market for me, so when wow, so it's brilliant. close to where I live, so when I play a big show there and I have the big lights in my eyes and I can't see the crowd, there's a different adrenaline there, and I still feel like you can connect. Sure. But it's actually a little easier, I think.
The bigger the crowd, the easier it is.
For me.
I like the smaller ones, actually, if I'm truthfully honest.
You do, yeah.
I do, yeah.
Just very intimate and
especially if you've got a good listening audience, that's one of the things.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Once you've connected with them, and they're into the mood of the night or whatever it is, it's good.
I'm very lucky now that I've pretty much only played to listening audiences, or at least that's the plan.
You're very blessed in that way.
People are I get to play my original songs and make a living doing that. So
well done.
It's
listen. Well, let's do one of your original songs. You've very kindly asked me to play bass today.
Yeah, man. Are you kidding me?
What
a thrill, yeah.
And I've managed to...
My dad wrote those charts out, by the way. Yeah.
Well done.
It wasn't me.
I've done some corrections for him. I hope he doesn't mind. But
I'll make sure to send those over to him.
I'm joking.
No,
seriously,
I'm not.
It's really good. But we'll have a little look. And tell us about the first song we're going to do, because this is off the new album, isn't it?
Yeah, Runaway Town. So... It's it was a song I wrote with this wonderful singer-songwriter named Mary Bragg in Nashville, who just released a record and is brilliant, and a wonderful girl too. And we were writing this song, and we were in East Nashville, which is a fantastic part of Nashville and community, and just tons of singer-songwriters. Hardly anyone is from Nashville there though, so it's this great melting pot of
all
people
out-of-towners.
Yeah, everybody wanted to come together. Everybody loves music there. They live and breathe it, and you know, Mary said, you know, we all fit in here, and I feel like for the most part we all support each other, and we're all rooting for each other, and we're just all kind of a bunch of misfits, and you know, it's kind of like a little runaway town, you know.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
And I said, oh man, I like that, you know, like let's write that, you know. And I can relate because I love East Nashville. I love Nashville. I've made my record there. I lived there for 5 months this year, making 2 records. So
that's fantastic.
You know, it's my home. It's another home for me. So
yeah,
that's where the song came from.
Excellent. Right. Well, I'll get in. You take it away when you're ready, and I'll join in.
You're just ready to go. I love it, man.
Hey, it's not often I get to play. I've only ever played on the show once, you know.
Really?
And again, by invitation, somebody went, "Oh, can you just play a bit of bass?" And I was like, oh, "Okay then." So, you know, this is my second time. A little bit nervous.
Oh no.
Say.
If I get to come back again, you're always on bass from now on. There's you know.
Hey, I'm going to hold you to that.
We're just going to add to the band too. There'll be like a string quartet next time we come.
Band next time. Yeah. Let's see how that works out.
There's Runaway Town.
Take it away.
1, 2, 3, 4. We all come from different places, got the same story to tell. We were spinning our wheels, digging dry wells, but around here we find shelter when the weather gets wild. And I don't feel as crazy these days. We've got runaway stars on runaway roses. No one here will crush our hopes. We light runaway fires on runaway nights. Haven't figured it out, but we just might if we stick around in our runaway, 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 runaway town. We're all empty, pocket pilgrims on a silver rising tide. Might have come here chasing gold, but there was something more to find. There's no compass to correct us as we sail into the dark. And we don't fear the shadows at bay. We've got runaway stars on runaway roads. No one here will crush our hopes. We light runaway fires on runaway nights. And figured it out, but we just might if we stick around in our runaway, 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 runaway town. And we can call this home. Kindred spirits don't have to feel alone. Whoa. We've got runaway stars on runaway roads. No one here will crush our hopes. We light runaway fires on runaway nights. Haven't figured it out, but we just might if we stick around in our runaway, 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 runaway town. Runaway
there you go, cooking in the kitchen. Stay tuned, don't you run away, come back very soon, see you in part 2.